What's the worst part of depression? How insanely hard it is to get help. You have to advocate for yourself a lot and you just can't even. If your doctor is dismissive of your concerns, you have to make her listen. If your therapist isn't a good fit, you have to try to find another one at a time when picking up the phone to order a pizza is even too much. Don't have insurance and can't afford a therapist. Maybe you can get a job with better insurance with all that energy that you don't have. It's like your leg is broken and you have to climb a mountain to get to the hospital to get it fixed. Knowing that you're in a depression and being physically and mentally unable to do anything about it. I tried to see a psychologist for therapy and a psychiatrist to try new meds. The next available appointments were in 9 months. I was advised to go to the emergency room if I couldn't wait. Gee, thanks a lot. The awareness of how much you're not doing. I know I am neglecting the dishes and laundry and work, but that knowledge doesn't help me summon the motivation to actually fix that and start doing normal stuff again. In fact, it often sets off a spiral of self-criticism which feels even worse. Thankfully, I've only gone through one episode and am on medicine that's been an enormous help along with therapy. Please seek help if you can. I know it can be daunting, but it really does make a huge difference. Hugs to everyone dealing with depression and mental illness in general. Edit. Thank you so much for all the awards upvotes. It truly means a lot to know that I've helped in some small way. Again, please reach out for help if you need it. See the links in the mod's comment on the original post. There's absolutely no shame in doing so. I really appreciate the discussion in the comments and have tried to reply when I feel like I am able to contribute. Feel free to message me if you'd like and I'll get back to you. Though I am currently fighting COVID, so I'll be off and on sporadically. Stay alive, friends. I always wondered if I was alone in this feeling. A large chunk of my 20s was victim to depression. I look at folks my age, how they were able to score high-paying jobs, the right partner right out of the gate seemingly, of course, and then I look at myself turning 28 this year. I have nothing to show for it. Every job I had, I tried growing something from, which never happened because of poor management pushing me away, which lead to depression resurfacing because of something not working out. Nobody can tell me that I haven't tried something. I have. Damn it, but nothing works. Looking back on it all now, the spiral of self-criticism that you mention is on point. It's as if I hate myself for not being better at life at this point. I hate myself for those moments I thought to myself it's okay. I am burning this bridge because I don't ever want to come back here. All those times of breaking down in my car before walking into work, wondering what I was doing wrong, wondering why my work ethic went unnoticed while others got lucky with managers that treated them right, helped them move up again. Seemingly, it's like I can't stand myself anymore. You know, it's like I hate myself for wasting my 20s away to in the heat of the moment decisions brought on by depression. The forgetfulness and lethargy. I am so done with it, but here I am. The amount of times my fiancé had to grab me and sit me on the sofa because I'd wander around our flat like a ghost forgetting what I should be doing. But according to my mother, this is normal. No, mother, a one-off thing is normal. Weeks, months lasting forgetfulness and lack of attention is not. Perhaps your mom struggles with the same issues as well. Brain fog is real, and can really disrupt your life. I do remember stupid shit to ruminate on. Depression, the gift that keeps on giving, working hard on getting out of it, but I feel the hard work just starts when you think you are out of it. The effects stick for a long time. Good to hear you're not alone. Sorry that got dark real fast. Hope you have an okay day. The complete loss of who you are. You remember having a personality, hobbies, pretty much any desire to do anything, and then it's just gone. You don't want to talk to anyone. You don't even want to get up and use the bathroom. You could lay in bed for hours and not even notice because your brain has just completely and totally shut down on you. It is isolating and exhausting to experience, and all the while you're blaming yourself for being so useless and pathetic. You literally just lose yourself. ETA, since this comment has blown up, I feel compelled to add depression doesn't manifest the same for everyone. If you feel like you need help, there are resources available. It is possible to improve and find yourself. You can also always message me and I will respond. For me, the most horrifying realization was that I was stolen away as a kid and I don't know who I would have been if I hadn't had depression. Once upon a time I was a good student, all advanced classes, loved studying. I was an outside kid. I swam in lakes and climbed trees. I was in gymnastics. Then I hit about 11 or 12 and my depression manifested. I withdrew from everything. Gymnastics went first, then being outside. I was training to become serious about diving. That went away. I stopped studying. Then I stopped going to school. I went from a straight A student to the amount of your absences has generated automatic fails in every class within one school year. You can see it on my report cards. I recently threw all of that away because of moving, but it is amazing how rapidly I declined. The love of learning stayed, but the motivation to do anything just evaporated. I fell into video games as an escape and stayed there forever. I still spend all my hobby time gaming. I don't mind the person I have become, especially because I've been medicated for 6 years now, and the change to being a real person was almost as rapid as my fall into being a depressed lump of nothing. But I often wonder who I could have been if my brain just didn't do what it did. But I don't even like walks in the park these days, even under the medication. Depression fundamentally changed my interests, and then I spent my entire adolescence 11-23 depressed, so it solidified those changes, and now the me who climbed trees is like a stranger. For the record, my diagnoses are major depressive disorder and generalized anxiety disorder. I was afraid to medicate because I was already actively suicidal, and I read on the internet that kids who were under 18 had an increased chance of succeeding at suicide when placed on antidepressants. I was so afraid of it getting worse, so I didn't medicate until I was well into adulthood and becoming very serious about suicide again. My last attempt before that had been the worst one, which landed me in the psych ward of a hospital in which I was treated pretty badly, so I wanted to do anything I could to not go back. So I finally got on meds. I suggest any person struggling but afraid sees a real therapist to discuss medication. I regret waiting so long. It can be self-sustaining. You feel depressed, so you withdraw. Withdrawing makes you feel depressed, can get stuck in a never-ending cycle. To add to that, sometimes you break through and everything feels clear and normal. But that can make you look back at all the time and opportunities that you wasted by being withdrawn. Even the act of withdrawing seems juvenile and pointless in retrospect in those clear moments. But of course, during the act of withdrawal, there seems to be no other rational or emotionally acceptable option. What sucks is when you try to be social again and realize that you have a hard time connecting and feel disappointed in how others are now interacting with you. So you see it as a failure and withdraw again due to this perceived sense of not belonging, assuming you have social anxiety and depression. Missing out on all the spontaneous moments to connect with the people that love you. The impact mental health has on those people around the suffering person is far too often ignored or minimized. Whether it's romantic, familial, business, or whatever else, mental health struggles insidiously erode away at the foundations of those relationships. What's worse is that often the changes lead to reduced social activities and in turn a less engaged and smaller social circle of people actively helping the suffering person, feeding the cycle further. When being suicidal stops being scary and starts being just another part of life. I should eat something. I want to die. I need to take a shower. I should go for a walk. I wonder whether I could jump in front of a car. I need to do the dishes. That new show looks fun. I should stab myself with a kitchen knife. At some point, it gets hard to remember a life without depression is even possible. It's crazy how normal a depressed brain can make suicidal thoughts seem. After a while, it just became an everyday thing for me. Like you said, constantly thinking about how much I don't want to live or about how I deserve to die because I am a burden to everyone. Not being interested in anything. Nothing grabs your attention. Everything is boring, but you know it would probably be good for you to do it, but it's just too big a mountain to climb. Being interested, lonely, bored, disinterested, and ashamed about it. I can't muster an interest in anything. I don't care to do things. I don't have hobbies, resulting in me being boring. I bore myself. How am I supposed to attract other people with nothing to talk about? It's awful not being able to enrich your life for lack of interest. It's so boring. The feeling nothing feeling. Being unable to focus, to be distracted, to be moved. Nothing can reach you anymore. It's like being in a locked empty room. Edit. Wow. Thanks for the upvotes and the awards. I was definitely not expecting that my experience could speak this much to people. I hope you'll be able to get out of it. I am in therapy with EMDR for 2 years with a great psychiatrist. It worked wonders for me. Please call for help if you can. If someone can help you financially in getting help. If you have insurance to get a professional to help you. Please do. It's worth it. Waves of love to you all. I think this is the worst. I remember what it feels like to feel literally any feeling. I just can't do it. Really the only feeling that came was anger. So I figured I would build off of anger. I used that to get to the next step. Frustration. And from there each feeling is just a step away. It's still a work in progress. But after years of working on it I finally felt real happiness 3 days ago. I am scared to regress and figure it will happen again. Hopefully I can claw my way out again armed with a new tool in the tool belt. The detachment aspect of depression is probably the worst for me. I lose my ability to speak to people closest to me, and I have a hard time opening up again or reaching out when I go through stages of depression, especially when I've unintentionally hurt someone close to me due to it. I am a very sympathetic and emotional person, but when I go through waves of depression, I lose that ability and it sucks. Another thing which I guess goes hand in hand with detaching is the lack of self-care that I do for myself and feel guilty when I try. It's a miserable game if that's what you wanna call it, and some people see it as you being selfish but neglecting everything and not being able to do anything about it due to depression is not a selfish act. It can be a cry for help. Trying to explain the month-long gaps to my friends is the worst. Oh yeah, work just got really busy, when in reality work is always ducking shitty because my field is full of abusive holes, but I need a job to keep a roof over my head. Meanwhile the landlord is increasing rent again while doing duck all. But because of all these issues that I can't fix no matter what I try, now I am depressed and isolating again. Oh yeah, and taking time off work to see a doctor or having a bad day at work because I'm not getting paid enough gets me fired. So whatever progress I was making I have to stop again because I lost insurance. It's an endless circle jerk where you're basically a slave to your job, which is a cause of your depression, but unable to overcome it because the bottom is always ducking falling out because they refuse to pay you enough to even be alive. It's all bad. Equally, I hated how time froze. 4 years after high school felt like 2 days apart. People are doing things with their lives and you're just laying there, watching from Facebook, and you can't relate to anything people are doing now. Looking at pictures from when you were once beautiful and confident in your looks, then looking in the broken mirror and seeing someone who hasn't bathed in 2 weeks, has matted hair, can't even smell the horrible stench of the house because you're so accustomed to it. On top of that, social anxiety, so when someone does try to reach out to you, you log off for a week and hope they didn't think you were rude by not responding. There's no more dopamine left from the things you used to enjoy, so you just put it aside. Might do it one day, another day, and you still might do it, but it's been a few months since you said that. Wait, hold on, no, that was 2016 since you said that. And your old friends' kids can talk now. Huh, they were just pregnant. I am not depressed like that anymore. But there were some really bad things that happened, and I live with regret with every waking moment of my life. People are quick to console someone without knowing the details, but believe me when I say that I do not deserve sympathy. As a 40-year someone who has dealt with it since childhood, and learned to cope, the hardest for me is seeing others suffer, seeing the hopelessness in those who have yet to find their coping mechanism, and watching the roller coaster ride of those seeking the proper medication. The physical and mental toll it often takes. Also, as a child, I found the dismissiveness from those who haven't experienced it themselves very difficult to understand. It led me to invest all of my energy into appearing happy around others, to the point of utter exhaustion. I would often have to hide away for weeks at a time, as best I could, which wasn't terribly helpful either. There was a silver lining to the play acting though. I was able to avoid the medical roller coaster that I saw others riding, simply because my parents seemed utterly unaware of my distress. For me, it's the fact that I can't accept when I'm low. I lie to people I shouldn't to that I'm doing okay when I'm not. And then when I finally reach the bottom and I can't lie anymore, people get mad at me for deceiving them, so now I have to deal with that guilt. The ever-changing sleep schedule. It's so hard to keep track of that you constantly forget what day it is and what time it is, making you feel isolated. No schedule means a decline in cleanliness and order. You basically just fall apart and try to stay alive. Feeling good 1 minute, finding yourself crying and feeling despaired the next, only because something or someone triggered you. Like just today, was feeling down because it's another beautiful sunny Sunday and stuck alone. Decided to go for a drive, put on loud music and raced a couple of strangers on the road, and that made me feel better. Then something which I don't even know triggered me and found myself holding back the tears in traffic. It breaks you down. You don't have the energy to go to work and meet with people or to study. You can't focus. You don't enjoy the simple things in life which used to give you pleasure. I'd like a leech attached to you 24/7 which you are trying to hide from the world, and it's stuck and draining. I keep to myself for a while. Then I eventually tell a friend a watered-down version of how I feel, and they say they feel similar even though they seem to be doing great. Then I feel like they aren't grasping how bad I feel and my friend can't understand me. Then I feel like maybe they are depressed too and I'm being judgmental. Then I see all the stuff they have going in their life and I think if they have all that and are depressed, will I ever not be? Then I go inward again. Also, OCD isn't great.